Hey guys, today we are going to be reading Junie B. Jones and the Mushy, Gushy Valentime. Chapter 1 Party Ideas. My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, except I don't like Beatrice. I just like B, and that's all. I go to school in room 9. Room 9 is where they have afternoon kindergarten. Also, they have morning kindergarten. Only I am not familiar with that arrangement. Today at school, my teacher had an announcement to make. Announcement is the school word for listen to me, and I mean it. My teacher's name is Mrs. She has another name too, but I just like Mrs., and that's all. Mrs. told us that we are going to have a special day in room 9. And it's called Valentine's Day. She said that Valentines are special cards about friendship, and all of us in room 9 are going to give them to each other. My bestest friend Lucille squealed real happy. Oh, I love getting cards, teacher, she said. I especially love getting the kind with money in them. Money is my favorite kind of mail. Me too, Lucille, I said. Money is my favorite kind of mail, too. Plus, I also enjoy the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. Mrs. did a chuckle. Well, I'm sorry, girls, but I'm afraid there won't be money in our Valentines. She said, in room 9, we will just be sending happy wishes to each other, but it will still be lots of fun. She smiled. We will be making a special Valentine's box to hold all the cards, and on the day of our party, I will personally deliver the cards to each one of you, she explained. Just then, I jumped right out of my chair, 'cause nobody even mentioned a party before. Hooray! I yelled. Hooray for parties! Can we have cake and donuts, Mrs.? And what about cheese popcorn and cotton candy and pretzels and candy apples? I thought some more. Plus, also, we'll need red licorice. Just then, a boy named Polly Allen Puffer ran right to the front of the room. He jumped up and down all over the place. No, wait! I've got it! I've got it! He shouted, real excited. We could get some of those jugglers who juggle chainsaws. After that, room 9 clapped and whistled and hooted and hollered, 'cause who doesn't love chainsaw jugglers? That's what I would like to know. After we finished clapping, we looked at Mrs. Her head was on her desk, and her eyes were staring out the door. Then all of the children in room 9 got very quiet, 'cause Mrs. was scaring us a little bit. Plus, also, we were out of party ideas. Chapter 2. The next day, me and my bestest friend named Grace were playing on the playground. And guess what? We saw Mrs. carry a giant box into room 9. It was the box we were going to decorate for Valentine's Day. I think. Wowie, wow, wow. That thing will hold a million bajillion Valentine's cards, I said, real thrilled. That Grace did a frown at me. Stop saying Valentime, Junie B, she said. You keep saying Valentine with an M sound, and you're supposed to say Valentine with an N sound. I did a frown back at her. Who said so? I asked. I said so, said that Grace. Didn't you hear my voice? I just got finished telling you it has an N in it. The word is Valentine. I did a huffy breath at that girl. You are not the boss of my words, Grace, I said. This is a freed country, and if I want to say Valentine, I can. And I will not even go to jail. That Grace looked annoyed at me. I didn't say you would go to jail, Junie B, she said. I just wish you would say the word correctly, that's all. Yeah, well, we can't always have what we wish for, Grace, I told her. I wish Valentine had an M in it, but it doesn't, does it? After that, me and Grace made squinty eyes at each other. Plus, also, we crossed our arms and we tapped our angry feet. Only pretty soon we got tired of that, 'cause fighting with your friends is not that fun. That's how come both of us hugged each other, And now we said apology. Sorry, Junie B., said Grace. Sorry, I tried to be the boss of your words. Sorry, Grace, I said back. Sorry, Valentime doesn't have an M in it. After that, both of us holded hands, and we skipped all the way to room 9. That is called a victory skip. And guess what else? After we got to room 9, Mrs. said it was time to decorate the Valentine's box. Everybody quickly sat down in their seats. Then we watched Mrs. cover the box with shiny white paper. Plus, also, she cut a mail slot in the top. After that, all of the children got our scissors, and we cut out paper hearts to paste onto the sides. I cut my fastest. Mrs., look, I said. I am already done cutting my heart, and so I have the fastest scissors in room 9, probably. Just then, a meanie boy named Jim jumped up from his chair. No, you don't. Look over here. I already cut 2 hearts. See? 1, 2. So ha ha on you, he said. I quick cut another heart. Yeah, well, I have 2 too. And so, you are not the winner anymore, meanie Jim. Jim held up one more. 3, he yelled. I just cut number 3. So I am still 1 ahead of you. I made my scissors go speedy fast. Ha, now I have 3 too, so there, I said. Jim did a fast snip. 4, I'm up to 4, he said. That's how come I got frustration inside me. Stop it, Jim. Stop cutting so fast, and I mean it. After that, I tried to cut 1 more heart, but my scissors went very out of control, and my heart turned out like a scribble scraps. Darn it. Now look what you made me do, I hollered real mad. All of a sudden, a big hand came flying over the top of my head, and it snatched my scissors right off my fingers. I bended my head back to see who it was. It was Mrs. I did a gulp. I was afraid it was you, I said, kind of soft. Then Mrs. went to Jim's table and she snatched his scissors too. And so me and him had to sit in our chairs for the rest of the day, and we didn't get to decorate the Valentine's box because our cutting days were over. That's why. And our pasting days never even got started. Chapter 3, Picking Out Valentines. The Valentine's box turned out very beautiful. After it was finished, Mrs. passed out lists for us to take home. The list had the names of all the children in room 9. There are 18 children in our class, said Mrs., so that means that everyone needs to bring 18 Valentines. I raised my hand. Do we bring Valentines for ourselves too? I asked her. Well, no, she said. I mean, there's no rule against it, I suppose, but Valentines are really supposed to be given to others. She thought for a second. Oops, I guess that means I made a mistake, doesn't it? She said. Since you won't be bringing cards in for yourself, you will only need to bring in 17 Valentines. I raised up my hand again. Yeah, only what if we also want to bring a Valentine for you, Mrs.? I asked. Mrs. raised up her eyebrows. Well then, you'd be back up to 18 again, wouldn't you? She said. 17 plus 1 equals 18. I tapped on my chin. Yeah, only what if there's people in here who we don't actually like that much? Do we have to bring them a Valentine too? Yes, Junie B., she said. Of course you do. Valentine's Day is a day of friendship for everyone. So every single boy and girl in room 9 will bring a card for every other boy and girl. After Mrs. finished explaining, she sat back down at her desk. I zoomed up there and whispered in her ear. Yeah, only I know I have to bring cards to the regular boys and girls, I said real soft, but I don't have to bring cards to the big, fat, stinky heads, do I? All of a sudden, Mrs. throwed her arms up in the air. Yes, Junie B., yes, you do, she said. For the last time, you will bring a card for everyone in room 9, even the big, fat, stinky heads. Just then, all of room 9 looked at her, because teachers are not supposed to say big, fat, stinky heads, I think. After that, Mrs. closed her eyes for a real long time. Then finally, she stood up very slow, and she went to the sink, and she took aspirin. The next day was Saturday, and it was the funnest Saturday ever, because Daddy took me to the drugstore, and he bought me beautiful heart antennas for my head. Plus, also, he let me pick out my very own box of Valentimes. After we got home, Mother helped me pick out the perfect cards for every person in room 9. First, I picked a card for my bestest friend, Lucille. It had a lovely princess on the front of it. This one, Mother, I said. I will give Lucille this one because when she grows up, she is going to marry an expensive prince and she is going to let me and Grace sweep her castle. Plus, also, we will get to wear her raggedy, used up gowns. Mother looked and looked at me. Lucille is a regular saint, she said very quiet. I know it, I said. Me and Grace are lucky to have her. After that, I found the perfect card for Grace, too. It had 2 running shoes on the front of it. Mother, read me the words. It said, Valentine, you and I make the perfect pair. We do, Mother. Me and that Grace do make the perfect pair, 'cause Grace can beat me at running, and I can beat Grace at lots of other stuff, probably. Only I haven't found anything yet. After that, I picked out special cards for all the other children in room 9. Every time I picked out a Valentine, Mother crossed a name off the list. Finally, there was only one name left. Jim, said Mother. You still need to pick a card for Jim. I did a big sigh, 'cause I didn't want to give that guy one, of course. I looked all through my box of Valentines. Then, all of a sudden, I saw a card with a funny skunk on the front. That one, I said. I will send Jim that one. Mother shook her head. I don't know, Junie B., she said. A picture of a skunk just doesn't seem very nice. I put it in an envelope. Perfect, I said, 'cause neither is Jim. Chapter 4. The Disagreement. On Monday, I skipped into room 9, very thrilled. Miss, look, I said. I have all my Valentines for the big, giant Valentine's box. They are right here in this paper bag I am carrying. I run and showed her inside it. See them, Mrs.? I matched every single card to the exact person who will get it, I explained. Mrs. patted my head. She said the word, good job. Then she took me by my hand and she showed me how to put my Valentines through the mail slot in the box. I do believe that you are the very first person in room 9 to bring in her card, said Mrs. I did a gasp at that exciting news. First, Mrs.? I asked. I'm really first? After that, I springed way high in the air and I ran around and around in a circle. I've never been first at anything before, I said really squealy. Not ever, never. And that's what is my prize for winning. I closed my eyes and held out my hands. Put it right back in my hands. Okay, Mrs.? I won't even peek, I promise. After that, I stood there real patient, but nothing got put in my hands. Finally, Mrs. bended down next to my ear. Junie B., honey, I'm really sorry, but there is no prize, she said. We weren't actually having a contest. I opened my eyes. We weren't? I asked. Mrs. shook her head no. My shoulders slumped in a teeny bit. So then, a prize would be out of the question, probably, I asked. Mrs. shrugged. I'm afraid I didn't buy any prizes, she said. After that, I rocked back and forth on my feet, and I thought and thought. Would you have a mint in your drawer, maybe, or some stickers? I asked. Mrs. smiled. Then she took me to her desk, and we looked in her drawer. How about a broken piece of chalk and a yellow rubber band? She asked. Sold, I said. After that, Mrs. told me congratulations, and she gave me my prizes. I quick skipped to my table and showed them to Lucille. She wrinkled up her nose. Yuck. Have you been going through the trash can again? She asked. No, silly, these are my prizes, I said. I got prizes for bringing my Valentines in first. Lucille smothered her dress. Yes, well, I would have brought my cards in today too, but they're not back from the printers yet, she told me. What? I said, the printers? The printers, where they print my name on the cards, she said. Wait till you see them, Junie B. Every card will have love and kisses from Lucille on the bottom of it. She hugged herself. They are so beautiful, she said. Each Valentine has a cherry lollipop on the front, and the lollipop is in the shape of Cupid. She sighed very dreamy. Cupid is the symbol of Valentine's Day, you know, she said. Of course I know, I said back. Plus, also, skunks and shoes are symbols of Valentine's Day, too, 'cause that's what are on my cards. After that, me and Lucille did our work till recess. Then both of us went outside to play with our other bestest friend, Grace. Only too bad for us, 'cause Lucille kept on bragging about Valentine's Day, and that's how come she and that Grace got into a disagreement. I am going to get more Valentines than anyone, bragged Lucille. That's because the boys love me better than any other girl, and they will bring me lots and lots of cards. Grace looked curious at her. But Mrs. said to only bring one card for every boy and every girl, remember? Not lots and lots. Lucille flounced her flouncy dress. Silly Grace, look at me. For goodness sake, I am precious. And when you're precious, boys automatically bring you lots and lots of Valentines. They just can't help themselves. She swirled all around. I am the cutest girl in room 9, Grace, she said. I am way cuter than anyone else. She giggled and pointed. Even you. After that, Grace did a little frown, 'cause that hurt her feelings, I think. I tapped on Lucille. Yeah, only Grace is the nicest, Lucille, I said, and so maybe the boys will bring her lots of Valentines too. Lucille did a huffy breath at me. But I am richer than Grace, Junie B., so that is another reason to bring me more, she said. I thought for a minute. Yes, but Grace can run faster, I said. So, said Lucille, my hair is longer, and boys like long hair. I looked at Grace's head, but Grace's hair is springier and curlier. I said, that is cute as a button. Lucille made squinty eyes at me. But I have a big screen TV and a pool, she said real loud. That's how come me and that Grace leans our heads together, and we got in a huggle. Finally, I looked up at Lucille. Okay, here's what we came up with, I said. Grace can whistle through her teeth, plus she can wiggle her ears, and also she can dribble a basketball through her legs while she's running. Lucille jumped up and down. But I have a pony, she hollered. I patted her, very sympathetic. Sorry, I said real soft. Grace has a snake. After that, Lucille's shoulders got very sagging, and she sat down in the grass, 'cause boys love snakes better than anything. Pretty soon, that Grace sat down next to Lucille, and she put her arm around Lucille's shoulder, and she patted her. 'Cause guess what else? Grace is a good sport. Chapter 5, Valentine's Time. Valentine's Day came on Friday, and guess what? My Grandma Helen Miller bought me a special Valentine's outfit, and it matched my heart antennas very perfect. That day at school, I skipped all around room 9 'cause I was a treat for the eyes, I tell you. Finally, I sat in my seat, and Mrs. took attendance. And guess what? Nobody was absent. 'Cause who wants to miss a party? That's why. After attendance, Mrs. put on a special Valentine's apron. It had a big heart pocket on the front. Then Mrs. filled the heart pocket with Valentine's cards from the box, and she delivered them to all the children. And wait till you hear this. The very first Valentine was delivered to me, to Junie B. Jones, and it said my name right on the envelope. Yahoo! I shouted, real thrilled. I'm first again, Mrs. Yahoo! Yahoo! After that, Mrs. kept on delivering cards until the whole Valentine's box was empty. Then all of us got to open our cards, and it was as fun as a birthday party, I tell you. After Lucille finished opening her Valentines, she called Grace to our table. Come here, Grace. Come here and bring your Valentines. Then you and I can count our cards, and we'll see who got the most from the boys, she said. Grace came over. She smiled kind of nervous. Well, okay, here goes, she said. Then Grace put all of her Valentines in front of me and Lucille, and she counted them one by one. Pretty soon, Grace wasn't smiling anymore. Rats! I knew I shouldn't have come over here, she said. Lucille grinned a teeny bit. Why, Grace? She asked. How many did you get? You have to tell me, Grace, how many? Grace did a big sigh. Only got 17, she said. I only got one card from every person, and that's all. No extras. Lucille's face lighted up very bright. She flipped her hair all around in the air. Gee, I'm sorry to hear that, Grace, she said. Well, I suppose I should count mine now. After that, Lucille counted her cards in front of me and Grace. She counted them right out loud. 13, 14, 15, 16. All of a sudden, Lucille stopped counting because there was only one more Valentine left in her pile. That's why. She stood up at her seat and looked all around for herself. First, she looked under the table. Then she looked on top of her chair and all over the floor. Also, she looked in her pockets and her backpack and her purse. Finally, she sat back down real upset. I don't understand, she said. How could this be happening? Every day my Nana tells me how special I am, but 17 Valentines isn't special at all. 17 Valentines is just the same as everybody else. I did a sigh. Nanas, I said. You can't believe a word they say. Grace looked cheerier. Count yours, Junie B. Count your Valentines and see if you got 17 like Lucille and me. Of course I got 17, silly Grace, I told her. Everybody in this whole room got 17. It was the rule, remember? After that, I put all my cards in a pile and I counted them out loud, just like Lucille. I did a frown. Then I counted them again. And even again. 'Cause guess what? Somebody broke the rule, that's what. I springed up on my chair. All right, people, who didn't send me a Valentine? And do not try to deny it because I've only got 16 cards in my pile. I pointed my finger at Meanie Jim. Was it you, mister? Huh? Are you the meanie head who didn't send me one? I looked all around. Or maybe it was you, Mr. Polly Allen Puffer. Or you, Charlotte, who I don't actually know your last name. Or you, Roger. Or... Just then, Mrs. swooped me off my chair. Do not stand in your chair, Junie B., she said, and please don't fight about Valentines. If someone didn't send you a card, it was just a mistake. No one would do something like that on purpose. I'm sure of it. After that, I sat back down in my seat and I looked at that woman very curious because Mrs. is a nice teacher, but sometimes she doesn't understand children at all. Chapter 6, Bingo. I put my head down on my table because I needed to figure out who didn't send me a Valentine. That's why. I thinked and thinked real hard. Then, all of a sudden, I springed up. Lucille, I thinked of a plan. I thinked of how to find that guy. All I have to do is see the names of who signed my Valentines because whoever is missing is the person who didn't send me one. Lucille looked admiring at me. That is very smart of you, Junie B., she said. You should be on cops. I know it, I said. My head is as sharp as a tack. After that, I got all of my Valentines in a pile, and me and Lucille looked at the people who signed them. We kept track of their names very good. Only too bad for me, 'cause 7 of my Valentines weren't even signed. Darn it, I said. Now what am I supposed to do? Just then, I saw Mrs. hurrying to my table again. Junie B., I have some good news for you, she said. Guess what I just found in the bottom of the Valentine's box? I sat up real quick, 'cause guessing games are my favorites, of course. A meatball, I said. Mrs. did a frown. No, Junie B., why would there be a meatball in the box? Think about it. What have people been putting in the Valentine's box all week? Valentine's cards, I said real smart. Right, she said. And how many Valentines did you get today? 16, I told her. Yes, she said. You were missing one, weren't you? And so what do you think I found in the bottom of the box just now? This time I thought my hardest. A meatball, I said. Mrs. rolled her eyes up at the ceiling. Then I looked up there too, but I didn't see anything. Finally, Mrs. pulled a giant envelope from behind her back. Know this, Junie B., she said. This is what I found at the bottom of the box. I found this big envelope, and it is addressed to you. My mouth came open, very shocked. Then, all of a sudden, I clapped my hands, very thrilled. Hey, wait a second here. Maybe this could be my missing Valentine. Mrs. looked funny at me. Bingo, she said, kind of soft. Yes, I shouted. Bingo, bingo, bingo. After that, I jumped up and down and I danced all around because nobody broke the rule after all. And that was very nice of them. After I finished dancing, I opened up the envelope and it was the beautifulest card I ever saw. It had lace and hearts all over the front and a purple ribbon was weaved all around the edge. Look, Mrs., look, it's a mushy gushy kind, I said. I always wanted one of these things. Who sent it, huh? Read me their name, okay? Who sent it? Who sent it? Mrs. opened up the card and looked at the name. Then she laughed out loud. Well, 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 it looks like you've got yourself a fan, she said. She ruffled my hair. This card is signed from your secret admirer. I raised up my eyebrows. Huh? What? Who? Mrs. smiled. A secret admirer is someone who likes you very much, but he's too shy to tell you, she explained. I guess your Valentine's Day turned out pretty good after all, huh? She said. Yes, my Valentine's Day turned out almost perfect, I said. Now all I have to do is figure out who my secret admirer is, and I will be in business. After that, I put my head on my table and I closed my eyes, because I needed to think of another plan, of course. Chapter 7. Wink, wink. Another plan did not come easy. I thinked and thinked for a real long time. Finally, I tapped on my bestest friend, Lucille. Want to help me, Lucille? I asked. Want to help me figure out my secret admirer? Lucille did mad eyes at me. Just because you have a secret admirer doesn't mean you're prettier than me, she said, very annoyed. I looked surprised at her. I never said I was prettier, Lucille, I said. It's just that someone in room 9 loves me better than he loves you, and I keep wondering who it is. Lucille leaned close to my face. It's a cuckoo head boy. That's who it is, she said. After that, she scooted her chair to the end of the table and she turned her head away from me. I did a mad breath at that girl. Keep acting like that and you'll be sweeping your own castle, I said. After that, I looked all around room 9, and guess who I saw? I saw Crybaby William, that's who. Crybaby William sits right behind me, and he's the shyest guy I ever heard of, and so maybe he might be my secret admirer. I spinned around in my chair and waved at him. Hello, shy boy, I said real cute. William looked nervous of me. What do you want? He said. I wrinkled up my nose very darling. Yeah, only you don't even have to be shy of me anymore, William, 'cause I think I know your secret, I said. After that, I put my chin on his table and I winked my eye at him. Only I'm not actually good at winking, so I have to say the words. Wink, 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 William, I said. Wink, wink, wink. See my eye? See how it's trying to wink at you? William's face started to sweat. Turn around, please, he said. I did a giggle, 'cause that admirer boy was shyer than I thought. You are a silly sausage, William, I said. Then I tried to tickle him under his chin, but William swatted my hand away. I tapped my fingers on the table. Okay, here's the thing, William. Swatting my hand is not actually that admiring, so please don't do that again. After that, I tried to tickle his chin again, but this time he ducked under the table. I did a frown, 'cause something did not seem right here. Finally, I bended my head down and I peeked at him. I'm going to take a wild guess here, William. You're not actually my secret admirer, are you? I asked. No, William said. No, no, no. After that, I did a big sigh and I turned my chair back to my own table. I looked all around room 9 again, and guess what boy I saw next? I saw Polly Allen Puffer, that's who, and he is always teasing me, so maybe he is my secret admirer. I zoomed to his table speedy fast. Wink, wink, Polly Allen Puffer, I said. Wink, wink, wink. What's wrong with your eye? He said. I puckered up my lips and I blowed that guy a kiss. Thank you for the beautiful Valentime, Paul, I said. Polly Allen Puffer looked strange at me. Paul? Who's Paul? What beautiful Valentine? My Valentine was the one with the oozy slime monster on the front, he said. Don't you remember it? Just then I made a face, 'cause I remembered it, of course. I hurried back to my seat. That's when I saw a boy named Ham. And Ham hardly even knows me. But it was worth a try, I think. I quick went to his table. Okay, Ham, I'm running out of patience here, so listen very carefully. I faced my eyeball at him. Wink, wink, okay? Are you my secret admirer or not? And please tell me the truth, or you will be sorry. Ham sticked out his tongue at me. Also, he put his thumbs in his ears and he flapped his hands up and down. All righty, I said, I'm going to take that as a no. After that, I went back to my table and I sat down real frustrated. I put my head in my hands very glum, 'cause guess what? Finding a secret admirer is not as easy as it sounds. Chapter 8. Who Knew? Pretty soon the bell rang for recess. I hurried over to my friend Grace, 'cause maybe she would help me find my secret admirer. Both of us skipped outside to the playground. Then, all of a sudden, I stopped real fast, 'cause I accidentally left my beautiful Valentime on the table. And I didn't want anyone to take that lovely thing. Wait, Grace, wait right here. I'll be back in a jiffy, I said. After that, I ran my fastest back to room 9, and guess what? I spied that meanie Jim at my table, and he was picking up my beautiful card. Hey, what do you think you are doing, mister? I yelled real loud. Then I zoomed to my table, speedy quick, and I yanked that card right out of his mitts. After that, I started running to the door, but meanie Jim springed in front of me, and he held up his hand. Stop, he yelled. Don't take that Valentine outside. If you take it outside, you'll get it dirty. I made squinty eyes at that boy. No, I will not get it dirty, I said back. And anyway, it is not your beeswax, Jim. Jim stamped his foot. Yes, it is too, my beeswax, Looney B. Jones, he yelled. That card costed me a whole month's allowance, and I don't want you to get dirt on it. As soon as he said it, he quick put his hands over his mouth, but I already heard his words. I did a gasp. You, Jim, you are the one who bought this card? I asked. Why? How come? Is this some kind of meanie boy joke? Jim started sputtering a real lot. Yes, no, I didn't buy that card. It just looks like it costed a lot of money, that's all. And whoever bought it spent his whole allowance, I bet. I kept on staring at that boy, 'cause something smelled like fish here, that's why. But if you're not the one who gave me that Valentine, then how come you're acting so funny, Jim? I asked. And how come your words are sputtery and nervous? And how come your face is reddish and blotchish? Just then, Jim clunked himself in the head. Darn it! I knew I would ruin it. I always ruin everything. Now everybody in room 9 will know that I like you, and I wanted it to stay a secret, he said. All of a sudden, my whole face felt happy. You like me, Jim? You really, really like me? 'Cause you never acted like you liked me. And so, since when did you like me? That's what I would like to know. Jim's face got a silly look on it. I've always liked you, he said real quiet. I just act like I don't like you so nobody will know I like you. I looked confused at him. But if you like me, how come you always call me names? I asked. Jim shrugged his shoulders. Because you call me names, he said. I did a big breath. Yes, Jim, I know I call you names, but that's because you started it first, I explained. No, I did not, he said. You started it first. I shook my head. No, Jim, you did, I said. No, Junie B, you did, he said back. No, you did. No, you did. No, you. All of a sudden, Jim raised his hand in the air and he waved it all around. I called on him. Jim, I said. Maybe we both started it, Junie B, he said. Maybe we both started calling each other names on the very same day. Just then, I started to smile, 'cause that would be fair of us, I think. After that, I skipped around him in a happy circle. On account of this was a nice development. I grabbed his hand. Hey, Jim, let's go tell Mrs. that we're friends. Want to? 'Cause she'll get a kick out of this, probably, I said. But all of a sudden, Jim plopped down on the floor and he wouldn't even budge. I stared and stared at the top of his head. Okay, this doesn't actually seem like that good of a start for us, Jim, I said. He looked up at me. I know, he said, but I can't tell the teacher that I like you. I can't tell anyone. If I tell people, it will ruin everything. I wrinkled my eyebrows. Everything like what? I said. Like all of my friends will know I like girls. And that will be embarrassing, he said. Plus, room 9 won't ever be the same again. I didn't understand. Why, Jim? Why won't it be the same? I asked. Because it will be dull and boring, that's why, he said. Because if you and I like each other, then I won't tease you anymore. And if I don't tease you, then you won't tease me back. And that means you won't shout silly, funny stuff at me that makes people laugh. He rocked back and forth on his feet, very bashful. You make room 9 sparky, he said, kind of quiet. After that, he smiled very cute, and he poked my arm with his finger, and he made a sparky sound. Zzz, zzz, he said. I laughed very loud, and I sparked him right back. Zzz, zzz, I said. And so, guess what? Then me and that silly guy started chasing each other all over room 9. And we kept poking and sparking, and it was the funnest game I had ever heard of. Only too bad for us, because all of a sudden we heard a noise at the door. Oh no, it was Mrs. She caught us in the room. Hey, what's going on in here? She said. You two are supposed to be on the playground. Me and Jim stopped very fast. Then Jim looked nervous at me because he was afraid I would tell his secret, I think. All of a sudden, I pointed to him kind of mad. It's his fault, Mrs., I said, because Jim poked me and made a sparky sound, and then I had to poke him back and make a sparky sound too. Only he couldn't let that be the end of it. So pretty soon we were chasing and sparking and chasing and sparking. Only just now you came in the door, and so the chasing and sparking are apparently over. And so we will just be on our way to the playground, I believe. I tapped on her. Pardon me while I get by, I said, very polite. Mrs. rolled her eyes way back in her head. Honestly, you two, it's Valentine's Day, she said. Can't you get along for just one day? After that, she took us by our hands and she marched us outside. We waited for her to leave. Then he looked at me kind of shy. You did good, he said. Thank you for not telling my secret. I smiled at that nice boy. That's okay. Thank you for my mushy gushy Valentime, I said back. After that, I faced my eyeball at him. Wink, wink, Jim, I said. Wink, wink, wink. And guess what? Jim pointed his eyeball right back at me, and he winked very perfect. After that, we runned off to play with our friends, or else people might think we liked each other, and that would ruin everything. And that is how come I never told anybody about Jim's secret, not even my bestest friends, Lucille and Grace, 'cause meanie Jim is the bestest secret admirer I ever had. And guess what else? Room 9 is still staying sparky. Zzz.